So guys, I cannot keep up. There's a tsunami of iPhone 15 information coming at my face. I'm sort of losing track at this point. But hey, that's iPhone season for you guys. So let's break down these new tidbits. And we begin with the action button on iPhone 15 Pro. This, of course, is going to be replacing the beloved mute switch, which I know is going to piss off many consumers, but I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever taken my phone off mute, so I absolutely will take a button that can do many things over a switch that does one thing. And well, thanks to iOS 17 code, we now know exactly what the button can do. So there's going to be 9 different functions, and these are accessibility options, of course, shortcuts, which I'm excited about, then the regular stuff like opening the camera, flashlight, translate, magnifier, focus modes, voice memos, and finally, for boring people, a silent mode so that, of course, your new fancy button can do the exact same thing as the old switch. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. Now, the shortcuts option is really the one with the most potential in my opinion, because right now, using the app on the iPhone, you can create a shortcut for literally anything you want. You can do something basic like creating a shortcut to open applications, like Twitter for example. Oh, sorry, not Twitter, X. But anyways, it can also be something more complex, like starting a workout, or giving you an estimation of how long it's going to take you to get to work today. So yes, having this option for the action button means you have limitless possibilities, and you can open anything you want on the phone with this button, and that's pretty exciting, I can't lie. Yes, I know I'm getting hyped about a button on a phone, but genuinely guys, this is pretty neat. Also, I'm hoping that now we have a button that can be dedicated to opening the camera or flashlight, we finally can remove those toggles from the lock screen, because we don't need 1,000 ways to do a basic function like opening the camera. And it's kind of funny, we can change so many aspects of the lock screen now and can even customize the thickness of the font, but we can't get rid of the toggles. Anyways, the next report's regarding when the event is, because that's a pretty key tidbit, since we need to know when we're going to be chucking money at Timothy. And while initially there were 2 possible dates, 9to5Mac said September 13, while Gurman said it could either be September 12 or 13 because, of course, he never likes to be concrete about anything. But then, surprise, surprise guys, Gurman actually clarified on this and wasn't being vague for once and said, no, the event should be on the 12th, I'm sure of this, and so yes, that's a date we can expect. Now, to be fair, it doesn't take a genius to work that out, because you might have noticed Apple usually has iPhone events on the 2nd Tuesday of the month, and of course, based on this, it's very, very, very easy to predict the pre-order and release date. It should be the 15th and 22nd respectively, so yes, do note these dates down in your calendar guys, get ready to splurge on these new iPhones. Now unfortunately, Gurman does say Apple once again is gonna stick to the pre-recorded format. I guess I should not be surprised by this at this point because we're well past the COVID days and Apple could have easily switched back to their old format, but they still haven't. And so yeah, sadly this will be the new norm guys. I say sadly because, I don't know, the live events just felt more exciting, the crowd reaction was always great to hear, but of course, now it's just Apple doing fancy camera transitions and just does not feel the same in my opinion. So yes, I'm still praying Timothy changes his mind on this and brings the old format back. Moving on to pricing, of course, it's bad news because we rarely hear about Apple products getting cheap, and so yes, as we've been hearing for a while, Apple is indeed increasing prices this year for the iPhone 15 series. Now for people outside of the US, that's actually the norm because Apple always gives us random price hikes for absolutely no reason, but at least for those in the US, this will be the first time since the iPhone 10 where we're getting price hikes with the Pro models. And while Tim Long, interesting name, but anyways, this man from Barclays, which is a bank in the UK, why are they leaking iPhone tidbits? Anyways, I'm not sure, but Mr. Long says iPhone 15 stays at $799, 15 Plus also stays at $899, iPhone 15 Pro is now $1,100, and the 15 Pro Max is $1,300. Yikes. Now there's a lot of interesting things to note here. The first thing being, of course, a $200 price jump between the Pro and Pro Max, which is a first because there's always only been a $100 jump between these devices. Now you could argue this makes sense because there will be no feature parity between the Pro and Pro Max. You're not only paying for the bigger screen and battery, but Apple's also going to chuck a periscope lens for the bigger device. But the thing is, guys, the 12 Pro Max had a better main sensor than the regular Pro, but of course, there was no price increase. It was still $100 between these phones. And so yes, I do have my doubts about this, but considering the Pro Max is slowly becoming the most popular model in Apple's range, of course Timothy wants to milk those consumers and make as much money out of them because, let's be honest, those high-end consumers likely won't be fazed by these price increases. But also, it's kind of funny to me that we all suggested to Apple the regular 14s were too close in price to the Pros and so those should get cheaper, but no. Apple's done the exact opposite, and they're creating differentiation by increasing prices of the Pro models. I see you, Tim. That's a bit of a dirty tactic, I can't lie, but it's pretty smart, I'll give you that. What worries me is that, of course, when the US had the same prices, we still got major price increases outside of the US, so what happens when the US also gets price hikes? I guess it's time to sell my kidney to get one of these phones. Now, along with these price increases, we do hear there's going to be a change in storage options. Right now, all models begin with 128 gigs of storage, with the regular models maxing out at 512, and the Pros maxing out at 1 terabyte. This year, however, because the Pros are getting a price increase, Apple's generous enough to give us 256 gigs of storage as standards. And this was long overdue, to be honest. It was kind of stupid the 128 gig option did not support 4K ProRes, but with this change, thankfully all iPhone 15 Pros should support this. What's more interesting is that allegedly we're also getting a new 2 terabyte option for the Pros. Now this was actually rumored to come to iPhone 14 Pro as well, but of course never materialized. So once again, I am a bit doubtful about this, especially since most do not need that much storage in the first place. What are you hoarding on your phone to use 2 terabytes of storage? I don't need that, I can barely fill up 128 gigs. But who knows, maybe Apple knows there will be sheep out there crazy enough to spend $2,000 just to get the highest end spec. Now coming to cameras, we know the Pro Max is getting this new fancy periscope lens, and the regular models are getting the 48 megapixel main sensor, but what about the regular Pro? What are we getting with that? Well guys, not much, because we have a new report saying that Apple plans to update the lenses across the range. These will be new plastic glass hybrid lenses with an f1.7 aperture that lets in more light. That's pretty great. But that's literally it for the base Pro, which sucks a bit, I can't lie, especially when there's going to be a price increase. Hopefully though, instead of hardware changes, there are improvements with the Smart HDR algorithm, because right now the 14s occasionally produce overprocessed garbage, so please, Apple, do fix that. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.